Hello YouTube, this is a Satsu 5. Excuse me. And this is a video about a comment I got a while back on the FGX balisong. This is the FGX Cold Steel balisong, and it's pretty cool. They have a single edge version, but when they first came out, the double edge version was the only game in town. And I got a comment on my review of this talking about how I loved it. And the guy said, "What's the point?" He said they ruined it by making it double edge. And I was like, "Really? How so?" And he's like, "Well, you can't flip it." And so I was like, "Really? You can't flip it?" And so I gathered from this exchange that the mighty balisong that we come to know and love has devolved into a yo-yo. And it's a toy to a lot of people. People just spend their time manipulating it and doing tricks that are not practical. And so it's no longer a tool to people. It's no longer a weapon to people. So it's really just a yo-yo or a toy. Keep in mind, mine is... This is new from factory. This hasn't been used. And you can see what I've been doing with it. But anyways, he said, "Well, if it's not for flipping, what is it for?" And I said, "Well, it's for having a weapon that you can carry in non-weapon friendly places." And he said, "Aha, you contradicted yourself." He didn't literally say aha, but he did say that I contradicted myself. And he said, "You can't legally bring weapons in non-weapon friendly places." And I said, "Wrong. There's many places in our world and environment where weapons are frowned upon, but it's not illegal to bring them." And a few examples are my brother, who uses, and when I say uses, he carries these on a somewhat regular basis. My brother went to a Broadway show, and they had security, they had metal detectors. This is invisible to metal detectors. Also, he brought it to a museum. You would hate to go all the way up to a Broadway entrance or a museum entrance or maybe even a concert entrance, and you have this in your pocket. And they're like, "Hey, what's that in your pocket?" And you're like, "Oh, this is what's in my pocket." They're going to look at you weird, they're not going to trust you, and they're going to send you back to your vehicle. It's been very convenient to have something that's virtually invisible that you can put in your pocket, put in your boot. Not the most comfortable thing to put in your boot, but you can do it. And it's invisible. Keep in mind, it's not illegal to carry a knife into a establishment that sells alcohol. It's not illegal to carry a knife to a museum or a concert. But places where there's higher security, it's against policy to bring a knife. So it's not illegal, it's just against policy to do it. And I tried to explain this to him. And so that's the beautiful thing about these balisongs, these FGX balisongs, is that one thing, they're strong enough to survive a rough encounter. Me and my brother really cranked on these things. We really sawed with them, we stabbed with them, we cut with them, and they're robust enough to get the job done. They're not going to fold on you very easily because it's a balisong. Has a suitable point, suitable edge. The edge is really for sawing, but if you do get close enough, excuse me, my mouth is dry. But anyways, this is a really cool tool, and it's not a toy. You can get the single edge version one and use it as a toy, but I would suggest that if you're trying to learn how to flip a balisong, the single edge FGX balisong is a cheap date, but it's not good to learn on because It's a completely different balance, and it's clunky. You can do it, but I would suggest investing into a slightly nicer balisong, something with a little bit more weight to it, something that has consequences if you drop it on your foot. That's how you learn. But this, you can pretty much carry anywhere that is against the policy to carry a knife, but not against the law. So you don't want to take this into an airport, onto an airplane, but if you're going to a place that has a 51% a thing about selling alcohol, if you know, I'll give you a good example. There's a club that I go to that caters to Mexicans, and when I say caters to Mexicans, I'm not. I don't want to use the term Hispanic because they literally cater to people from Mexico and have Mexican lineage. They don't cater to Puerto Ricans. They don't cater to Hondurans or any other Hispanic area in Latin America. It's very much a Mexican nightclub, although most of the people in there are Americans, but with Mexican descent. And I go there. They put you through the metal detector and they frisk you. We got some other clubs, especially if you go to the club that caters to people who like country music. You can walk in there with a knife in your pocket and open carry. You can have a case knife with a tooled leather pouch or sheath on your belt, open, displayed, for the world to see, because it kind of shows your status. So that's very interesting. This Mexican club, which anybody can legally go, but they cater to Mexicans, they're very strict on what you carry in. But this club that caters to cowboys and people who like the country music, you can carry knives in there and they just don't care. So it's not illegal to carry a knife into the Mexican club, it's just against policy. And that's where something like this would become more in handy. Something I do when I go to a nightclub that has heightened security, if I have my keys, a tactile pen, or a flashlight, I put it in my hat, and I don't often wear a hat into nightclubs, but like a concert. But even if I don't have a hat, when I'm getting frisked, I hold my hands out like this so they can frisk me, but I have my keys, my tactile pen, and my flashlight in my hands. So they don't pay attention to my hands, but they do pay attention to this area, my pockets, and stuff. And I have gotten tactile pens, tactile flashlights, and my key bar into this Mexican nightclub. And the one time that I didn't put my key bar in my hands when I was walking through the metal detector wand, he looked at the key bar and he was like, "Hey, you know, what is this? You can't have knives." I was like, "Oh, it's not knife, it's keys, you know, open it up and everything." And he let me in. The only reason why I put the key bar in my hands originally was to avoid that awkward, "Hey, what is this?" moment. So that's it. That's the video. Keep in mind that balisongs are not yo-yos. They serve a purpose. They're a little bit antiquated, but they still serve a purpose. And those legitimate reasons to carry a double-edged balisong. And also keep in mind that just because a place frowns upon carrying weapons, and it's against policy to carry weapons, doesn't mean it's illegal to carry a weapon in there. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video right now, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm a Satsu5, and I'm out.